What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about 26 facts about Norwegians. So today, I want to take a look at this article that I thought looked very interesting. You know, as an American, I only know what Americans are like. I've only lived in the United States. I don't really know what people from other countries are like, especially Norway. So today, I want to take a look at this because this was written by somebody who traveled to Norway and lived in Norway for a couple of years, and these are the things that she noticed about Norwegians that make Norwegians unique. So it's Norwegians' habits, beliefs, lifestyle, and they said one of the most difficult adjustments they had to make to living in Norway was getting used to Norwegian people, because it sounds like Norwegian people are kind of different than a lot of people around the world, and certainly very different from Americans. So let's take a look here at some of the things she noticed about Norwegians. Norwegian people are mostly tolerant. That's good. That's good. That's good. Norwegians are tolerant. So, like in Norway, what? You're very accepting of people's beliefs and what they want to do with their life, that kind of thing. The average Norwegian is pretty tolerant, but tolerance levels can vary depending on where you are in the country. That's kind of like America. Some Americans are very open and tolerant of people, but depending on where you are, that can change. I found Norwegians to be accepting of other people and lifestyle choices. Same-sex marriage laws were passed in 2009. There is not a group of ignorant people trying to merge the state and religion together. Okay, so far, pretty cool. Religion in Norway. You know, this is something I want to hear about because I don't really know much about what religion is like in Norway. I don't know what your guys' most popular religion is. I don't know if Norwegians are particularly religious. Do Norwegians go to church? I don't know. Speaking of religion, Norwegians are not religious. Oh, not religious. This is very different from here in America, where a lot of our population is religious, and some parts of the United States are very, very, very religious. While most people belong to the Lutheran Church of Norway. Oh, the Lutheran Church of Norway. I don't know about that. It's by no means indicates that Norwegians go to church or believe in a higher power. Most people in Norway belong to the Lutheran Church of Norway, but you don't go to church and you don't believe in a higher power. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Well, I'm not sure what the Lutheran Church of Norway is. Maybe that's what I don't understand here. It's estimated only 3% of Norwegians go to church on a weekly basis. Wow. Oh my God. This is very different from America. I don't know the statistics, but I would guess the majority of Americans are religious of some sort, mostly Christianity. Interestingly, religion isn't an issue in Norway. No one really talks about it, or judges you, or your beliefs, or lack of beliefs. I really liked that. I really like that too. I really, really like that. That's awesome. That is the way it should be. No judgment, not an issue. If people wanna be religious, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. In America, there's definitely people who judge you if you're not religious. People will get mad at you if you're not religious. This is a big difference between Norway and America, that's for sure. Okay, other things facts that she noticed about Norwegians is that Norwegians are conformed. Conformed, like you conform. You act in an expected manner. You try to become part of the group, that kind of thing. You're conforming. One thing that blew my mind when I arrived in Norway was how conformed Norwegian people are. What does this mean exactly? I arrived at a time where everyone wore exactly the same thing. Norwegian women even wore their hair the same way. What? What is this? Are we talking about Norwegian fashion? Like Norwegians like to dress fashionable, like Norwegians like to do what's popular, dress and do your hair. Okay. I will never forget the sight of Converse sneakers or the Canada Goose jackets donning almost every person in Norway. So we're also talking about brands. Like in Norway, there's very popular brands like Converse, Canada Goose jackets, and most Norwegians purchase these popular things. And that makes people kind of look the same. Is that what we're saying here? This definitely happens somewhat in the United States, but here in America, it's definitely cool to be very individual, very individualistic, to dress with your own style, to do your own thing. That's considered cool, but at the same time, a lot of Americans are very conforming as well. There's definitely a popular fashion, popular haircuts, popular brands in America. So Americans definitely conform as well, but also in America, it can be considered cool to stand out, to stick out and look different. So that's maybe a little difference. Norwegians speak English better than I do. Really? I'm not sure if this is a compliment or an insult for me, but dang, their English skills are stellar. I mean, if you're Norwegian and you're watching this video, you probably have pretty good English because you understand what I'm saying, right? So that already is very, very impressive. I mean, don't even get me started. Here in America, it is so rare for anybody to speak anything other than English. Nobody speaks two languages here. That is so rare. That is like a superpower here. And in Norway, it's just normal. That's amazing. Norway ranks as the top English-speaking country in the world, along with other Scandinavian countries that are not native English-speaking. So yeah, in Norway, you speak Norwegian, but you're all like fantastic at English. There is a light accent that comes with most Scandinavians, but it's easy to understand. You will meet people who are that sound so American. What? Norwegians, you even have the accent down? I would imagine if Norwegians are watching American television or American movies, you guys probably develop a pretty good accent for American accent. Wow. And in Norway, children's shows are dubbed, but Norwegian adults always watch shows in the original language. So in Norway, you can watch English shows, you can watch Norwegian shows. That opens up so many possibilities. That is so cool. Yeah, I mean, this is probably something that Norwegians don't even think about. For you guys, this is just normal, that you understand English. For us, like, this is amazing that you guys speak two languages. This is amazing. Norwegians speak excellent English, but it's wise to learn Norwegian if you're going to Norway, of course. But Norwegians can switch over to English if they realize you're not fluent. That's so cool. Norway is great. And apparently a great place for Americans to visit too. Work-life balance in Norway is superb. Wow. So far, with these 26 facts, this is mostly praising Norway. Like, Norwegians are great. And the work life balance is great. After living in the United States and Germany, I can say that Norway really gets it right when it comes to work life balance. Your child is sick? Stay at home. Need a mental health day? Okay, I don't know whether to be upset or impressed. I'm upset that we don't do this here in America. Like, this sounds that if your child is sick, you can stay home with them? Really? That would never. In America, you have a limited number of sick days for yourself. You can't get off work for your child. You'll get in trouble. And a mental health day? I've never even heard of that. A mental health day? What is that? Take the day off and recuperate? Need to make an appointment with the bank? Take a break from work? I mean, this is just so different from America. This might be one of the biggest differences, other than the language, is that in America, like, the work culture is pretty bad. You are a slave to your job. Americans do not get very good benefits. Limited sick days, limited vacation. Like, you're not allowed to leave and go to the bank, or like, I can't even imagine that. As a result, working with Norwegians was very pleasant. I bet because you guys are probably a lot happier and a lot more fulfilled and pleasant. And in America, our government has very little intervention with our work. There's not many laws around working and employment. So businesses in America can get away with treating employees pretty badly, actually. And Americans are very unhappy at a lot of jobs, and that's really sad. And I've heard from a lot of Americans how unhappy they are. And just hearing about Norway, it just sounds better in every way for jobs and the work culture. The people of Norway don't complain. You don't complain? Ever? Ever? Nothing? That's because your life is so good. Of course you don't complain. Trust me, they will tell you that they do. But after living in the United States and moving to Germany, I can confirm that Norwegians don't really complain. So this is compared to the United States and Germany. Apparently, in America, we complain a lot. I think for me, it's hard for me to get a good idea because I live here. For me, this is all just normal. American culture is normal for me. It's the benchmark. I think people complain a normal amount, but maybe compared to other countries, we complain a lot. I don't know. I worked at a cafe for a while, and getting a complaint was rare. Oh. Yeah, in America, people complain at restaurants all the time. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true. Americans will complain that their food isn't good, it isn't cooked right. They'll want not to pay for it or send the food back to the kitchen. Yeah, restaurants in particular are bad. Maybe I just made awesome coffee, but I don't think that's the case. I think people just complain in Norway when it's absolutely vital. That sounds great. When I was in Germany, I had people yelling at me to pick up my dog's poop. Oh my God. Norwegian humor is dry and infectious. Norwegian humor. I have seen some videos on YouTube of some Norwegian comedy and Norwegian humor, and it is very different. It's very funny, and it is dry, kind of like British humor, but Norwegian humor can be crazy, silly too as well. It took me a while to get it. In fact, for years I thought Norwegians were dull and couldn't crack a joke. Later I realized that Norwegian jokes are just far above my dumbed down idea of jokes and slapstick. So Norwegians make jokes that are not obvious, or maybe it's sarcastic or dry, and for some Americans, we might not even know you're joking. Norwegian people are not politically correct and have no problem poking fun at themselves and their lifestyles and their traditions. I think that is so great. That is something Americans need to learn. We need to learn to make fun of ourselves and to not be so politically correct, to actually talk about taboo topics. Wow, I mean, I'll say it again. Norway, it just sounds like you guys have such a great attitude and philosophy towards so many things in life. Making friends in Norway is hard. Okay, finally, this is like the first fact about Norwegians that is bad. This is negative. Everything has been good so far. This is a criticism, I think. It wasn't so hard for me. I am really outgoing, so I was at an advantage. But many people tell me it's very difficult to make Norwegian friends after moving to Norway. Norwegians don't really make small talk unless provoked. And Norwegians don't move too far from where they grew up. Oh. Because Norway is only so big. There's only so many places. And it sounds like Norwegians don't move very far from home. Here in America, it's so big. It is so big here. 50 different states. People move. People move across the country. People move for jobs, for new experiences. So I think in America, there's a lot of people who move and change their home a lot. And you could travel like 1,000 miles in America and not get across it. So there's a lot of Americans looking for friends. A lot of Americans need to learn to be social and create new friends and be outgoing, I guess. Whereas in Norway, it sounds like that's not really necessary. You guys keep your same friends since childhood. Yeah, I'm not really friends with people I grew up with. Sounds like Norwegians are friends with your childhood friends. So it's difficult to go to Norway and join a friend group that's known each other for 20 years or more. Every Norwegian I met had the same group of friends since they were in grade school. When you're around the same people for so long, it's difficult to bring someone new into your group. This makes sense. And Norwegians, just by nature, don't make a lot of small talk. So this is a big difference between America and Norway. In America, people are ready to be friendly. People want to talk. Americans want to talk and make friends. I'll say that. That's a good thing about America. Maybe we're a little annoying at times, but most people are pretty friendly. Norwegians, sounds like you're not really looking for friends. Like you have the friends that you want, and you've known them for a long time. Unless you're all drunk. Okay, good to know. And I think with that, that's a good place to stop. This is a really, really long list of facts about Norwegians. Is really interesting. There's a lot of differences between Norwegians and Americans, that's for sure. So this is really fun. I'm definitely going to continue this in another video, but I'm going to stop here for now. If you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, especially if you're Norwegian. What do you think about these observations of Norwegians? Are these accurate? Are these fair? That'd be fun to hear about. And if you're interested in part 2 of this, or just more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and learning about Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.